Well, we're finding that 9 to 5 is out. Sorry, Dolly Parton. And windowed work is in. Lindo Garib, district president with Robert Half Staffing, joins us today. Lindo, it is great to see you again.
Great to be back, Jessica. How are you?
I'm doing well. And, we're all getting used to these circumstances. And that's what's so amazing is that, we made these adjustments and we're waiting to see. And now we're having a conversation about how really our whole work circumstance is certainly changed now and could be for the future. This windowed work is not something I was familiar with. But what is this all about?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, you're right. The pandemic has really changed things over the last several months. So the whole concept of windowed work is when employees are able to structure their day by clusters of time so they can really, adhere to what they need to do from a professional standpoint, but also balance that with their personal responsibilities. So the pandemic has really, helped move that along because it has gained a lot in popularity since so many people right now have to not only, continue to work and work remotely, but also balance and take care of their family members, their parents, their personal obligations. So, windowed work has really helped, balance the two pieces of responsibilities.
Is this part of that conversation that we were having in the before times about finding work-life balance? Now we're actually in the situation where we have the opportunity to sort of structure that work-life balance.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And you're right. I mean, what's transpired with the pandemic has really sped up the process, but this really has helped a great deal with that because the whole concept behind the windowed work is, people can structure their day. So maybe they get up in the morning and they, take care of family obligations for an hour or two. Then they, work for 2 to 3 hours. And then maybe for lunch, they take a break. They may then, do some schoolwork with their kids or go out to the grocery store or exercise. So they take like 2 hours in the middle of the day. And then maybe after dinner, they get back to work mode once, they've got some downtime for a couple of hours. So it really allows people to just really use their judgment to see how to best cater and set up their day to not only meet their personal responsibilities, but also to be able to keep up with their work responsibilities.
And Robert Half recently conducted that survey, and you're finding that this is working and people are happy with it.
Yeah, it's really interesting. So basically, 79% of employees said now that their employers are fine with them doing windowed work. And then the other piece of the survey that I thought was really interesting is 73% of employees actually found themselves more productive doing work this way versus the traditional hours. Because when people are at work now, they're really focused on, what's at hand. And they know that they're going to have time later on to maybe take care of some of their personal obligations. So as a result, both employers and employees have actually seen productivity increase.
It's incredible to think that now we're in this place where we're experiencing this firsthand and we're seeing the positives. And I would imagine when we have more control over our schedule, makes us more productive, more happy, right? We're happy to be doing the work too. So really, it seems like everybody's benefiting.
It is a win-win. I mean, yeah, from a benefit perspective, you're right. I mean, this really has shown, employees that, their employers trust them to do what they need to do, that they don't need to be micromanaged the entire time. It also has helped a lot with, retention and people being able to have that balance that you were talking about. So it's not like go, go, go all the time. Now, there's pros and cons to everything. I mean, there's obviously a lot of benefits to windowed work, but some employees do have to be, cognizant that they don't want to be working around the clock now because it's not a set 9 to 5 anymore. So you want to make sure that you're keeping that balance. But overall, I think people have adjusted well, and to be able to have that flexibility throughout the day has been a win-win.
So companies are embracing that work-life balance, that flexible schedule, and then maybe going forward, should we evolve back into a more normal circumstance, that could continue to be the trend.
Absolutely. I think we're definitely seeing, what we've lived through and the experiences that we've had over the last several months. It's shown us a couple of things. It's shown us that remote work really does work. It shows us that, people don't necessarily have to work the traditional hours. And I think as we make our way back out of this and whatever the new norm ends up being in the future, I do believe that remote work is here to stay, and the ability for people to have more control over how they're structuring their day is also, here to stay.
Well, Lindo Garib, windowed work is in. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Jessica.
Yes, my pleasure. And we'll be sure to share more information to Robert Half so you can learn more about the ins and outs of windowed work.